Advice is becoming less about products and more about perspective. Clients today want someone who actually understands their full world, not just their portfolio.
Hello and welcome to this special episode of WPTV. My name is David Katai, Senior Editor at Wealth Professional. Every year, WP releases our 5-star wealth advisors list to highlight some of the best and brightest that the Canadian wealth management industry has to offer. Today, we're lucky to be joined by one of those leading advisors, Jonathan Hunt, Managing Principal, Hunt & Associates, Private Wealth Management of IG Private Wealth Management. Jonathan's practice is about connecting the dots. Serving a client base of busy, hardworking, high net worth business owners, he serves as the source of their bird's eye view, seeing how their businesses, their personal lives, and their deeper goals and aspirations all connect. Jonathan, welcome to WPTV.
Yeah, glad to be here.
So, Jonathan, tell me a little bit about your practice in your own words. Who exactly do you serve and how do you serve them?
At Hunt & Associates Private Wealth Management, we work a lot with business owners, high net worth families, professionals, and people going through big transitions in life. Over time, we've naturally become really focused on helping business owners because we saw a common problem. Most people spend years building their business, but don't spend nearly as much time planning around it. A lot of the time, their business is their biggest asset, but it's the least organized piece of their overall financial picture. What we try to do is connect everything together. Investments are a part of the conversation, but so is tax planning, retirement planning, estate planning, protecting wealth, business value, and eventually helping people transition out of the business when the time comes. We want clients to feel like they have a team helping them see the full picture rather than managing everything in separate silos.
It's a great picture and really important work that you've laid out. But, these are business owners. They're smart people. They deal with complexity on a day-to-day basis. I guess my question is from your end, why is it so hard for so many business owners to get that kind of bird's eye view perspective on how their business fits in with the rest of their life?
I think it's because business owners are wired to move. They're solving problems, making decisions, managing staff, and growing revenue. And most days, there isn't a lot of time to step back and ask, is this actually moving me towards the life that I want? When income, identity, and future are tied so closely to your business, it becomes hard to separate yourself from it and look objectively. That's usually where the opportunities get missed.
Again, that makes a lot of sense. But, easy enough to talk about the problem, to say where you want to get them to. The trouble is always in the how. So how do you provide that bird's eye view perspective? How do you get the perspective on these families and these individuals' businesses that allows you to really connect those dots for them?
A big part of our role is helping create that space to think strategically. We spend a lot of time asking questions clients don't always get asked, like things like, what does success actually look like? If you exited tomorrow, what would that look like? Are you overly dependent on one asset? And are your personal and business goals aligned? Sometimes the biggest value we provide isn't actually giving answers. It's actually helping people question or ask. It's actually helping people ask questions they haven't had time to think about.
The power of asking questions comes up so often when I talk with other advisors, when I talk about their own approaches. But, looking at what other advisors have sometimes provided to these sets of clients, what do you think they tend to overlook when they're working with business owners and entrepreneurs?
I think one thing that can happen in our industry is focusing too much on investments and not enough on planning. Investments matter, but for a lot of our clients, the biggest outcomes come from decisions around tax, business structure, succession, cash flow, and long-term planning. I also think the emotional side gets overlooked. Money decisions are rarely just math, especially for business owners. Their identity is tied to it, family, legacy, years of work, and you have to understand that side too.
When you're dealing with so much complexity, there's the old cliche of, you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes this is, complexity held within business owners' personal lives, their financial lives, areas where maybe they haven't always wanted to share the, secret sauce, the thing that makes them so successful. How do you make sure when you're working with these clients that you're not missing key parts and key pieces of information?
For us, it starts with a process. We spent a lot of time building structure into how we run our business because we never want advice to feel reactive. We slow down upfront and try to understand everything, the business itself, family, goals, concerns, values, and future plans. We also collaborate a lot internally and with outside professionals because nobody sees every angle perfectly on their own. The more perspective you can bring together, the better the outcome usually is.
You mentioned a question that you asked to your business owner clients before, and I want to kind of put it back to you. You asked them, what does success look like for you? Now you're in this role as, the managing principal of your own business, serving these business owners. From your perspective, what does success look like? How do you define success?
Well, success is for me has changed over time. Early on, it probably wouldn't have been growth numbers or business metrics. Now I think success is helping people create options. If someone feels confident making decisions, has clarity around where they're heading, and feels organized around their future, that's success. And if business owners eventually exit and feel like they've maximized what they've built and did it on their terms, I feel like that's a huge win.
The final question I'll ask is, for the rest of the industry, given the example you've laid out, the way you work with clients that so many other advisors want to be serving, what do you hope other advisors take from your example and from your approach?
I hope that more advisors realize that advice is becoming less about products and more about perspective. Clients today want someone who actually understands their full world, not just their portfolio. So you don't need to have every answer, but if you have good questions, build great relationships, and genuinely care about outcomes, you can make a huge impact on people's lives.
That is a beautiful note to end on, Jonathan. All I can really say is thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. And congratulations again on being on our 5-star wealth advisors list.
Awesome. Thank you so much, David. I appreciate it.
Have a wonderful day. And thank you to all of our viewers. Have a great rest of your day.